Kakadosh Boker Or. Daf Yomi Masechet Shevuot. Daf Lamedchet Amud Aleph 3881 on the top. We are on the first line at the end where it says Shevuat Pikadon Keitzad. Okay? Shevuat Pikadon Keitzad. What is the case of Shevuat Pikadon? So imagine somebody comes and he says, "Send me Pikadon sheyesh li biyadcha." Give me the Pikadon that I have in your hands. So I give you collateral and I tell you, no, give it back to me. And he tells me, what are you talking about? Right? And we're going to speak about this. So Tana Rabbanan, we learned in the Braita. Kilal, if right now he was kalal, which means he was kalal everything in one sentence. So eno chayav elachat. He's only going to be chayav one korban, right? Which is basically one korban because he was kofer on everything. So for example, I come and I give you, Richard, give me back. I put by you my wallet with my camera, with my phone, with my computer.
That's where I didn't take anything.
Exactly. So that's one kfirah. That's one renouncing. So if it's only one korban, because it was only going to be one. However, though, if it was parat, which means that you detailed every single thing.
Take your wallet.
Exactly. And he swore on everything.
Do I have to say I swear each time? Or not?
So that was a machlok that we saw before.
Yeah.
So chayav al kol echad v'echad, you're going to be chayav on every single one. These are the words of Rabbi Meir. Rabbi Yehuda says, no, you have to say shivua lo lecha velo lecha velo lecha, right? Chayav al kol echad v'echad. So then you're going to be chayav, right? One korban. Rabbi Eliezer says, no, lo lecha velo lecha velo lecha bishvua. Meaning you have to say shivua at the beginning and shivua at the end, and then you're going to be chayav al kol echad v'echad. Then you have the last shita, which is Rabbi Shimon, so you have to say shivua on each one. So you have to say shivua, not on the wallet. Shivua, not on the phone. Shivua, not on the keys.
So that
Shivua
applies to the people and the things.
Exactly. So therefore, that's the machloket. One more time. Rabbi Shimon, we're doing Daf Yomi. We already started. Right? Rabbi Shimon comes and he says, yeah, he comes and he says like this. Rabbi Shimon comes and he says, Gemara. So therefore, again, according to Shitat Rabbi Shimon, you have to say Shivua at the beginning and at the end. According to Rabbi Shimon, you have to say Shivua on every single one in each time. According to Shita of Rabbi Eliezer, you're going to have to say Shivua at the beginning and the end, right? And according to Rabbi Yehuda, you have to say Shivua, not this, not this, not this, not this. Okay? And according to the Tanakama, right, which is basically going to be Rabbi Meir, it all depends whether you said it as a generalization or you specified it. That's all that it is. So you've got Shitat, one more time, Shitat Rabbi Meir, Rabbi Eliezer, Rabbi Yehuda, and Rabbi Shimon. Okay, 4 shitot. Everybody clear? You mean a chart, doctor? Not yet. Okay.
It's time.
Hey, he's going to make a chart now. Don't worry. Yeah, the only one that was tired in the Torah was the Sav. Says Amar Rabbi Yehuda Amar Shmuel. Says Rabbi Yehuda Amar Shmuel. Yeah. Klalo shel Rabbi Meir. The generalization, the general of Rabbi Meir is the prat of Rabbi Yehuda. And the general of Rabbi Yehuda is the prat of Rabbi Meir. This happens many, many times when you make a chart that if you have a klal and then a prat, right, which is like the general and then the specifics. So many times when you make a chart and then you have a few names, so you started with Rabbi Meir, Rabbi Yehuda, Rabbi Eliezer, then Rabbi Shimon, many times the second one on the chart is the first one on the next one. And the second one is on the next. So says the Gemara, Rabbi Shmuel, klalo of Rabbi Meir is the prat of Rabbi Yehuda. And the klal of Rabbi Yehuda is the prat of Rabbi Meir. Meaning that it's the exact same cases, but vice versa. Meaning the klal of Rabbi Meir was the prat of Rabbi Yehuda. That's why you asked me, why did it flip? It flipped because we always have the klal and the prat. And then we have the prat and the klal. Meaning we have generalization, specification, generalization. That's what the Gemara just said. That's what the Gemara just said. Read the words in English. Amar of Yehuda Shmuel says of Yehuda. What? No. Nothing to do with every morning. One more time. Right? Amar of Yehuda Shmuel. Right? He says of Yehuda in the name of Shemuel. Klalosh Rabbi Meir. The klal of Rabbi Meir, which means the way that Rabbi Meir is explaining the klal, that you're only going to be chayav one korban, is the prat of Rabbi Yehuda. Okay? And the klal of Rabbi Yehuda is the prat of Rabbi Meir. So therefore, Richard just asked me, 1 second, if you're comparing apples to apples, well, it should have given A, B, A, B. No, it's A, B, B, A.
That's right.
Because you have to flip it. That's what we just said.
That requires more time for my mind to get wrapped around that.
Okay, but I just explained it to you though, Richard.
Yes,
right?
You did.
Okay, but I need you to understand.
Rabbi, that's why I'm here.
Baruch Hashem. Rabbi Yochanan argues. And Rabbi Yochanan says, Hakol modim, everybody, whether Rabbi Meir or Rabbi Yehuda, they all agree, Bevelo lecha, shu prat. If he says velo lecha with a vav, vav means and you. Meaning I come and I say, I don't have anything of you and you. Velo lecha.
Shimon doesn't agree with that.
One minute. We're before Rabbi Shimon. We're in.
All agree.
No, all is Rabbi Meir and Rabbi Yehuda.
Ah, you're right.
Right? Rabbi Meir and Rabbi Yehuda. Remember, but we have the first two, which is Rabbi Meir and Rabbi Yehuda. Later on, we're going to have Rabbi Eliezer and also Rabbi Shimon. But 1 minute. Don't hold your horses, Richard. It's that. Right? If you fly, if you're not walking, you can't fly. One more time. Right? First, you're going to come and you're going to have, everybody agrees. Who's everybody? Rabbi Meir and Rabbi Yehuda. So Rabbi Meir and Rabbi Yehuda both agree that if you say velo lecha, and I have nothing of yours, but I said and, the vav. So therefore it's a prat, right? And therefore you're only going to be chayav on every single one because I said and, right? I added it. So it's a prat. It's on every end. Lo nechleku. So what is the machloket? Belo lecha, without the vav. But remember, when I come and I use the word and, which is a conjunction, the and is adding on to everything as separations, but it's connecting them. When I just say lo lecha without the vav, so therefore you don't do that. Why? Rabbi Meir says it's a prat. At the end of the day, Shevuos is also going on that. Rabbi Yehuda says no, that's a klal, because at the end of the day, it's only one Shevuos for everybody. It's not a Shevuos, separate Shevuos for every single person. So ve'ezeu klalo Rabbi Meir. What is the klal of Rabbi Meir? Right? We have a chart on the next page. Right? Shevuos she'en lachem biadi. He says, if it's a Shevuos that I don't have anything in your hands. So b'maika mipalgeh, what are we arguing with? Shmuel daik mi braita, Rabbi Yochanan daik mitzniti. Meaning Shmuel is being medayek from the braita, and Rabbi Yochanan is being medayek from the Mishnah. Why? Shmuel daik mi braita because it says Rabbi Yehuda velo lecha, so it's a pratava. So miklal the shamel Rabbi Meir, so it's mashma that for according to Rabbi Meir it's a klal, and it says Rabbi Yehuda this is a prat. Rabbi Yochanan says tarvayo Rabbi Meir pratav. It's both going to be a prat, whether he said lo lecha velo lecha or lo lecha lo lecha. It means whether he said the vav or not, according to Rabbi Meir, it's all the same thing. Rabbi Yehuda says, no. Velo lecha, I agree. Lo lecha, I argue on you. Okay? Now, Shmuel is going to be doche the braita, but he says, Shmuel, ad de'odi le'odi lifluga le'lifluge. He says, until Rabbi Yehuda is going to mention that he's going to be modeh, he's going to mention the argues. Okay? Fine, 1 second. Rabbi Yochanan. And Rabbi Yochanan is going to be medayek from the matziniti. The Kamar Rabbi Meir, since Rabbi Meir says, Shevuos she'en lachem yadi klal ahavi. When a person comes and he says that he makes one Shevuos that I don't have anything, it's a generalization. It's a klal. Miklal de lo lecha. If you say with a vav, it's a prat. The isal kadaviz. If you're going to tell me velo lecha is a klal, the mashmalan, since you're going to tell me it's masha Shevuos she'en lachem yadi nashmina, just tell you Shevuos lecha velo lecha. And kol sheken Shevuos she'en lecha biyadi. Meaning he just says, 1 second, why didn't you just say a kol sheken? Meaning Rabbi Meir should have said, Shevuos that I don't have for you, and you, and you, and you. And then kol sheken, a Shevuos she'en lecha biyadi, that it's going to be the same thing. So therefore, because of that comes Rabbi Yochanan, and he says, I'm going to be medek from the Mishnah, that it's not like that. So he says, Shmuel Amar, and Shmuel's going to tell you, kol omer velo lecha, is like saying Shevuos she'en lecha biyadi dami. Nekuda. Okay. Tanan. We learned in the Mishnah. Lo lecha velo lecha velo lecha. You remember we just said, right? So this is a question on Shmuel. So answers the Gemara, Tani lo lecha, meaning that Shmuel, all he has to do is just say that I had a girsa in the Mishnah without the vav. And if I have a girsa in the Mishnah without the vav, so therefore there's no question against me. Yes, there's no question against me. So Tashma, we're going to try to bring another question now on Shmuel. Tashma, tell me pikadon utzum yad gezel vaveda. Give me the pikadon utzum yad gezel vaveda. So he says, in this case, right? He comes and he says, Shevuos she'en lecha biyadi. He comes and he says with the vav, he's going to be chayav al kol echad v'achad. So he comes out that according to Rabbi Meir, right? If you're connecting all of them with the vav, it's a prat, it's not a klal. So this is against Shemuel, right? Shemuel said that when you have the vav, it's still considered a klal. Here it's considered a prat, and we have a mifurash. So answers the Gemara, Tani tzumet yad gezel aveda without the vav. You have to take away the vav again. Basically, remember one more time. You have the vav. if you have the vav, according to Shemuel, what's it considered? A klal. According to Rabbi Yochanan, it's a prat. Okay? One more time, because according to Rabbi Yochanan, the second that you said and, it's like an individual. Once it's an individual, you're obligated a korban on every single one. So we keep on bringing proofs from the Mishnah and from other places that there's a vav, and you're chayav on every single one individual. So that's against Shmuel. Shmuel keeps on telling you, take away the vavs. Meaning, I didn't have the vavs in my Mishnah. So if I don't have those vavs, so then I'm okay. It's only because of the vavs that I have a problem, according to Shmuel. Okay, so you just take away the vavs.
Can you?
Yeah, that's what he just said. He just said our Mishnah was without a vav. Then he brought another part of the Mishnah about pikad, meaning specifying what do you have, whether it's going to be a loan, something stolen, lost object, or also the collateral. And again, it had a vavs. So Shmuel says, I didn't have vavs in the Mishnah. If I don't have vavs in the Mishnah, I'm fine with my shita. Like my what I hold is good, is okay.
Also saying that if I had the vav,
Well, yeah, that's something different. But if you had, but you don't have the vavs. So Tashema, we're going to try to bring another proof. No, Tenli chitino so mikasmin again. Chita, but again, you have the vavs, right? And we said you're going to be chayav on every single one. What's Shmuel going to tell you again? Take out the vavs. Yeah, take out the vavs. So says the Gemara, v'hai tana. So it comes out that the Tana of our Mishnah, kol hachishav ishtani v'azil. Right? What? He was kol kach mishtabesh that he kept on making 3 tauyot. Meaning, how many times did we take out the vavs? 3 times. We took out the vavs for lo lecha, lo lecha, lo lecha. We took out the vavs for gezel pikadon aveda, right, and tzumet yad. And then we took out the vavs for chitin seorin ukusmin. You want me to translate? One more time. There were 3 times that we had to take out the vavs of the Mishnah. The first case was not to you, and not to you, and not to you, and not to you. Shmuel answers, take out the ends. All the ends, remove them. Second case of the Mishnah. Richard, you've got my collateral, my loan, my lost object, or something that you stole from me. Those are 4 different cases. Again, they had a vav on each one. Says Shmuel, take out the vavs. Third case of the Mishnah. Richard, you've got my wheat, barley, spelt. But I kept to say wheat and barley and spelt. Vav, vav, vav. Says Shmuel, take out the vavs. So ask the Gemara, are you going to tell me that 3 times they made the same mistake? They kept on saying vav, vav, vavs. And you keep on coming and telling me, take away the vavs? So says the Gemara, Ela, but rather, Amani, who is our Mishnah? Like Rabbi. The Amar, Rabbi says, Loshna kezait u kezait, pratavi. Meaning, according to Shitat Rabbi, when he's going to be speaking about a machshava of psul when you're bringing a korban, there's no difference when you have the machshavet of psul by 1 kezait, right, or a second kezait without the extra vav. Selam zabidiyuk todovar pratahavi. It's still considered a prat even without the extra vav, right?
The big darshan that gives in the footnote.
Yeah, that means basically what he's trying to say is that even without the vav, right? He says even with the vavs and everything, it's still considered separately. That means according to him, it's exactly opposite. What we thought that without the vavs, it's separate. With the vavs, it connects. He's saying even with vavs, it's still separate. That's what the Rabbi says. Even with vavs, it's still separate. It's not considered connected together. The last question on Shmuel, Tashema, mididei, right? What does that mean, mididei? From the words of Rabbi Min himself, Rabbi Min says, afilu chita usora v'kisemet. Again, he's got the vavs, right? Chayav kol chavachat. You're going to be chayav on all of them. So again, you take out the vavs. Tane chita usora v'kisemet. So what's afilu? Even the chita usora v'kisemet. Even if it's chita, which is part of chitim, but chita is 1 wheat kernel, but that's part of wheat, or seorah, which is 1 barley kernel, which is part of barley, or kusemet, is spelt 1 kernel amongst everything. That's why it says the afilu. Even if he was only asking on 1 chita from chitin, 1 seorah from seori, 1 kusemet, meaning 1 kernel from everything, it's still going to be a chayav shevuah on every single one. Right? Again, we're on the bottom, towards the bottom of the page of the Gemara, okay? On 38a. It says, if a person comes and he says, give me wheat and barley, and then he swears that he doesn't have anything, so he's only going to be chayav 1. If he says, I swear that I don't have the wheat, spelt, and barley, he says, and, he's going to be chayav on every single one. Rabbi Yochanan says, Pruta mikulam mitztarefet, meaning even if you're going to have the erech of all the tviyot together is only going to be shaveh pruta, they all mitzareh for one korban. If you remember that whenever you're obligated a korban, there has to be a shiur. What's the shiur? Shaveh pruta. But even if I'm going to add that in order to get to the shaveh pruta, I need to add the wheat, barley, and spelt together, meaning mamash, it was like mamash like one kernel, one little tiny grain of each one, and I put them all together. Now I have a shaveh pruta. They all combine in order to be chayav one korban. Okay? So pligi ba ravacha v'ravina. There's a machlok in Rach Ravina. One of them says a prate mechayev, a klal mechayev. You're going to be chayav a korban on every single prat, right? So you're going to be chayav 3 ashams, guilt offerings, and the klal you're not going to be mechayev. Okay? So he says bechadaman, and one of them says a klali also you're going to be mechayev on the klal. No. Meaning like this. According to what we just said in the Mishnah, you're going to be chayav a korban on every single prat, correct? A prati mechayev. You're going to be chayav a korban only on the prat that he mentioned. So, for example, if he said Shevuos shelecha biyadi chitim sorin kusmin, you have 3 ashams, but you're not going to be chayav an extra one on the Shevuos shelecha biyadi. One more time. A person comes, I come and I say, Richard, give me the wheat, spelt, and barley. And remember, I said and. Usually in English, the and is only on the end, but here I actually said and. Chitin usorin vekusmin.
I don't have none of these.
Which one?
I say I don't have this.
You come and you say,
You know why?
Shivua I don't have in my hand. Then you say the details. Wheat, barley, spelt. So you're only going to be chayav the 3 korbanot on the wheat, barley, spelt, which is the prats, the specifications, the non-inclusive, right? Right? But you're not chayav on the first part of your sentence that you said, Shivua that I don't have in your hands, which was a generalization. Meaning, every single time when you're going to come and you're going to make this vow, the first thing that you say in your vow is a generalization. Shivua that I don't have in my hands.
That means on that you're already.
So technically, you should already owe on the klal. But he says, no, you're not chayav on the klal. You're only chayav on the prats, which was the 3 prats, right? Which is going to be 3 ashams guilt offerings. But remember, whenever Shavuot Pikadon is asham.
In English, you don't have the end comes at the end, but the commas represent end.
Exactly. Chazak Baruch. Now, so one of them says, no, you're also going to be chayav on the klal. So he's according to him, you're chayav on 1 klal and 3 prats. That's one of the opinions of Ravacha Ravina. We said one says this way, one says the other way. Yes, he would say 4. Okay? And therefore, according to the din of Rabbi Yochanan, it's also going to happen that when you're going to be chayav on every single one, if all the kfirot together get to a shaveh pruta, you're going to be chayav also on the korban, the klalit, also the klal. Okay? Fine. But Tani Rabbi Chia comes and he teaches, Harekan 15 chataot. So now all of a sudden now you're going to come and have 15 chataot then. Because you were kofer on 3 minim, and you have 5 people that are asking. So it's 15 chataot. Now according to you, Ivimita, it should be 20. Why is it going to be 20?
Because
The klal. The klal times 5. No. The klal plus the 3 is 4 times 5 is 20. Okay, I was going the other way around. I was just going to say until now we had 15. But if you had 1 klal for every single 5, or for every single one of them, it gets an extra 5. So it's 20. Yeah? So says the Gemara, answers the Gemara, Haitana de pratika chashiv de klal chashiv. No. Our Tana was only bringing down the prats, not the clouds. That's why he said there's only 15 chataot. He didn't, right? He didn't.
A little weak, if you ask me.
Okay. So ask the Gemara, there's 20 chataot. Says, you're right. Said there we're talking about pikadon tzumet yad gezel v'aveda. So therefore, in such a case, it's going to be 20 because again, it's all the prats. But there's more. Beforehand, we only said there were 3 prats: wheat, barley, spelt. But if I change it, now we're talking about collateral, pikadon, loan, gezel, naveda. That's 4. 4 times 5 is 20. Meaning beforehand, we were talking about 3 cases: wheat, barley, and spelt times 5. There's 5 people, not defendants. What do you call them? 5 litigants. 5 people that are demanding their money. So it's 5 times 3. Now I'm doing 5 times 4. So it's always the prats, right? But we're on the next case. You're clear, Richard?
I'm just astonished that you got this in your head.
Ba'mine Rava Rav Nachman. So ask Rava from Rav Nachman. Hayu chamisha tovin oto. 5 people are asking. V'amru, they told him, Ten lo pikadon tzumet yad gezel v'aveda. They told him, give us the pikadon. Remember, pikadon is collateral. Tzumet yad is a loan. Gezel, right, is going to be stealing. Aveda is something which was lost. And so he only tells one of them. Right? So he tells one of them. He directs himself to one. I swear that. And then all of a sudden he turns to the other one. Velo lecha. Then to the other one. Velo lecha. The other one. Velo lecha. He comes on not to you and not to you and. Remember the vav. Vav, 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 vav. What's halacha? There's no safek that he's going to be chayav the first 4 korbanot. That's for sure.
For the one guy.
Right, for the one guy, which is the first guy. The question is, right, is he going to be chayav on everybody else?
I gotta go to the next page for that.
Right, so Chada Mechayev, so he says, right, Lamidchet 38b, Oldima, are you going to tell me that he's only going to be chayav 1? Oldima, are you going to tell me, no, he's going to be chayav on every single one? Because he said, velo lecha, velo lecha, velo lecha. So Tashma, we're going to try to bring a proof to Tanya Rabbi Chia taught, Harrekan esrim chataot, that there's going to be 20 chataot. What's the case? If he explained it, so Rabbi Chia minyana talishmina, well, he's just telling you numbers, saying you could do math. I'm saying this simple math. So elalav, obviously, de lo parish. You didn't actually say velo lecha. Ushmamina, but it's coming to teach you that this is all prats, and therefore you're going to be chayav the 20 korbanot. Okay, fine. Next, 2 dots. Anasta upitite biti. Imagine a guy comes to the bedin and he says to the bedin, "Listen, this guy violated his daughter or he seduced his daughter." Yeah, so he's going to be chayav a korban because of Shevuot Pikadon, because he was kofer on Boshet and Gam. Remember that not only did he defile the daughter because he obviously he went with her, but he also caused embarrassment, which is Boshet, and Begam, a defect, because now she's she's not
those are compensatory.
Exactly 100%. So those are money. Yeah, 100%. So Amar Rabbi Chia bar Abba Rabbi Yochanan says Rabbi Chia bar Abba name Rabbi Yochanan. My tamad Rabbi Shimon. What's the reasoning of Rabbi Shimon? He says, "Hoil v'ikar knas hu tovea," because he's being tovea the ikar of the knas, not on the portion of the gam. Meaning, if he came to the bedin and he's demanding the money of embarrassment and of defiling, so then that's one thing. But here he's not asking that. He's asking for the main knas, which is the 50 shekalim, which was brought out in the Torah. When a person comes and he seduces or he violates it, he has to pay 50 shekalim. So Amar Rava comes and he says, "Mashal Rabbi Shimon l'mar davar domeh." What's it compared to? Right? Le'adam she'amar lechavero, to somebody that says to his friend, "Ten li chitinu sorim v'kismin sheyesh b'yadcha." Amar lo, he says, "Shevuos shelecha b'yadi chitin." And then all of a sudden, ishtakach techitinu delele. He didn't have chitin, but he did have sorim v'kusmin. He's going to be patur. Techishtaba chitin, akushta mishtaba. Imagine I come to you, right? Let's say Yon, I'm coming to you. אני אומר לך, אתה יש לך את החיטין שלי, והוא נשבע, ודאי שאין לי. And all of a sudden, it's true. They didn't find chitin, but they found kusmin and seorim.
He didn't swear about it.
He didn't swear about that. So when he swore about the chitin, he swore truthfully. There was nothing wrong with what he swore. He swore he didn't have chitin. It's true. He didn't swear anything falsely. They found the chitin. Doesn't matter. But he didn't swear falsely. So Abaye says, no. So he should be patur in such a case. Right? Because at the end of the day, he did. Meaning, this guy, are you listening? This guy, what's he demanding? Is he demanding the 50 shekalim or is he demanding the Boshet of the Gam? He's only demanding the 50 shekalim. So when the guy comes and he swears, he was correct. There was a Boshet of the Gam, but he didn't ask for the Boshet of the Gam. Yeah? So Elmaleh Abaye says, Midami, can you compare both cases? Hatam bichitin kakafale there, it was chitin kakafale. So he was not kofer. Hacha bekula minta de kakafale. Here, when he says that he didn't sleep with a daughter, he went against the entire thing. Meaning like this: when I come and I demand from you from wheat, right? What did I ask you for? Wheat. Did I ask you for barley and spelt? No. So now when you come and you swear on the wheat, you swore truthfully. Though the barley and spelt, nobody asked you for. So there's nothing there. When we're talking about now, the case of the daughter, you have 2 aspects also. You have the 50 shekalim with the 50 shekalim, which is the knas, the penalty. And then you have the Boshet and Gam. Embarrassment.
More than
embarrassment.
Or less,
no, less. Right? It's the embarrassment and defiling. Right? Obviously, it depends on who and so on and so forth, right? But it depends on the family and everything. But okay, fine. So now he comes and he says this. He says, when they came to the guy and they told him, right, about the 50 shekalim, he denied the entire thing that he didn't sleep with a daughter. So everything is included. By the case of the wheat, it's all included. It's a one package deal. When I come and ask you for the wheat,
The 50 is for the
it's
whole menu.
No, but it's separate.
What's the finish?
That's what he's asking. He's saying, Midami, can you compare both cases? There, Chitin Kakafale, he was only kofer in Chitin. Seorim Kusmini didn't kofer. Here, in the case of our Mishnah, the entire thing he's going against. But he's saying, I didn't do anything. Right? So says the Gemara, so what's it compared to? You tell your friend, give me the Chitin Seorim Kusmin. Give me the wheat, barley, and spelt. The guy comes and he says, Shevuah, that he doesn't have anything. And all of a sudden, it's not true. He doesn't have chitin, but he does have the wheat in the spelt. The barley in the spelt. So it comes out that now he should be chayav, obviously, because he actually did have something. So Ravi number Yochanan. So when Ravi came, he said Rabbi Yochanan, ledivrei Rabbi Shimon, according to Rabbi Shimon, that he says knas hu tovea, that he's going to be tovea the knas and not the bullshit of gam. So therefore, when he's going to be, so according to Chachamim, he's also being tovea the bullshit of gam. Meaning, it all depends. What is he being tovea? Meaning, according to them, what are you demanding? So when you come to court, what are you asking for? I'm sure that they have that. No, when you come to court,
Why would Shimon say that? Why are they saying that? If I say you rape my daughter, I want everything, not just the fine.
Here he says, because even though it includes it, but when a person comes and he's saying anasta or petita beti, he's mitkaven only to the knas and not to anything else.
I think he made it up.
Yeah, that's what he's saying over here. So that's why he says.
Have a good logic there.
Yeah, he says. Well, you're right. Hilkach. That's why he says. Yes, so therefore, when he came and he said that was only being kofer in one.
I want to ask.
So says the Gemara, what are we dealing with? Amar Papa says Shimon Savar Shimon holds lo shave kini shmidi the kites tava midi lo kites. Rabbanan Savre lo shave midi the chimodo bepitar tava modi the mode miftar. Means like this, right? Richard wanted to know what's a svarot behind it. So now we just answered the svara of Rabbi Shimon. Rabbi Shimon says a person will never leave something which is going to be kites and asks for something which is not kites. Meaning like this.
It's easier to
fixed.
get.
It's easier to get. Remember that kites is fixed, a fixed amount. The knas, the knas is 50 shekels. The knas is 50 shekels. It's fixed. So therefore, if I have a choice, am I going to go something which is like a knas which is fixed? Or let's get something which is an evaluation that every single person is going to be different. It's just much easier to go for something which is fixed. But if you're going to come, meaning like this, I've got a rule, right? I could go and I could sue you. I could go for the generalization and get $10,000, or I could come, which is whatever the general rule, or I could go for the specifics. It's going to be embarrassment and defiling, and maybe it could be 12,000, but it's not. It's many times it's much. It could be also 8. It could be 12. I don't know.
It can't be.
It could be. Depends on the person. No, not in this. One second.
He gets both, Rabbi. He gets a fine.
One second. So therefore, he says like this. So he says, because of that, it's just much easier. It's just much easier for me to come and go for something which is fixed than to go for something else. So that's why, according to Rabbi Shimon, when I'm going to come and take him to the court, I'm taking him to court only for the knas. I'm not taking him to the court for the bullshit gum. Right? The Rabbanan hold though, right? That basically that a person will never come and ask for something that if you're going to be modeh, you're going to be patur. Meaning this, if I come to court and all of a sudden you're going to admit it, you become scot-free. So therefore, I would never come to you against you with something that you could become scot-free. I'm going to come to you against you with something that no matter what, you're obligated to pay me something. Meaning it all depends on how we're looking at it. Meaning, are we looking at it in the fact that I've got two different ways of looking at it? I'm right now the one that's running after money. I'm demanding you money. I'm taking you to court and I want money. Now, there's two ways of looking at it. I could get a knas, which is basically I could ask you for a penalty, which is a fixed price, or I could ask you something which is not a fixed price. So says Rabbi Shimon, it's much more worth it for me to go after something which is fixed. Why? Because you know that it's fixed, it's easy to get, there's no questions asked. Come on, 1 minute. Now there's another thing, right? There's another thing. When I come to you and I'm going to ask you for something, what happens is that there's an easy way out. And that easy way out could exempt yourself completely. So if I'm already coming and taking you to court, I'm not going to take you to court on something that you could get out of it like this. I'm going to take you to court to make sure that no matter what happens, you're going to obligate to pay me money. That's the Rabbanan. So therefore, there's two different opinions on the outlook of the guy that's attacking. When he's attacking, is he going to go for something fixed or not fixed? Or, so obviously, according to Shimon, he's going to go always for something fixed. And according to Rabbanan, what do I care about fixed or not fixed? Even if it's fixed, it's an easy way out. In 2 seconds, he becomes exempt. So he's going to always go for something which is not going to exempt himself, right, later on. So Hadran Alach Shavuot HaPikadon. We just finished the chapter of Shavuot HaPikadon. Now we're starting the 6th chapter. The 6th chapter, New Mishnah, Lamed Chet Amud Bet 38b. Exactly. Shavuot HaDayanin. Shavuot HaDayanin comes and it starts as follows. Yeah, Shavuot HaDayanin, Hata'ana, right? What is exactly, we're going to speak about now, the shiur of the Ta'ana and the Kfira, the shiur of the Hoda, and the Hoda has to be Mimina Ta'ana, meaning there's going to be 3 different rules. Number 1, what is the measure, right, or the limits of
the minimum value
and what you're rejecting. Number 2, the shiur of what you're admitting to. And number 3 also, does the admittance have to be from the same concept of what you are similar, thank you, of what you are actually claiming, okay? So let's start. Shavuot HaDayanin. Hata'ana has to be minimum of shte kesef, meaning if you want to come and you want to make 2 witnesses swear, okay, so therefore the Bet Din are going to come and make a person swear, the minimum value has to be minimum of 2 ma'ot kesef, which is 1/3 of a dinar, in order to come and to make somebody swear. Meaning, imagine right now I come and I take you to court. I say, listen, right, he borrowed from me 50 cents. The Dayanim will never make anybody swear. Because
$500.
Yeah, it has to be a minimum amount. It has to be a minimum amount. How much is that minimum amount? Shte kesef. It doesn't say exactly how much that is over here. No, because it has to be a minimum amount.
You can't go to use the based in.
Yeah, exactly. And there has to be some type of a swear.
Substantial
right?
claim.
Substantial claim. Va'oda, though, when you're going to come and you're going to be modeh, it's even on a sheve pruta. Meaning, to make the guy square, you need a minimum value. But to come and to admit to something, even if it's going to be sheve pruta, it's going to be enough. But if it's not going to be from the same thing, he's going to be patur, right, from Shavuot Modeh bin Nisat. Meaning like this. When you come and you usually admit to something, usually you have to swear. So I come in and tell you, you owe me $100. He said, no, mapitom, it's 50. You just were Modeh bin Nisat. You admitted to partial claim. When you admit to the partial claim, you have to now swear that it was only 50 and not 100. So he comes and he says, but if it was not the similar to the actual claim that you claimed, you're exempt from that oath. So Ketzad, so let's start. I come and I say, listen, you owe me $500. The guy comes and he says, no, it was only pruta. It was nothing. Patur, he doesn't have to swear. If I come and I tell you, you owe me $500, the shte kesef, right? Pruta yesh bichad. In the end, he said, no, I only have the pruta. Here, you're going to be chayav a shvua. Okay, because again, since over here he did admit to the pruta, now he's going to be chayav. Maneli biadcha. A person comes and says, you have $100 by you. He says, en lecha biadi. So he's going to be patur because he was kofar and everything. Maneli biadcha. He says, en lecha biadi. He's going to be chayav because here he does. Because I told you you owe me 100. He says 50. Okay. Another halacha. Manele abba biadcha. He says, a maneh, right? My father has a maneh by you. My father to you. Right? And now he died. En lecha biadi ele 50 dinars. The guy comes and he says, no, your father only had 50, not 100. He's going to be patur. But then that's like hashavat avida. I mean, you're returning a lost object. Because basically, since the guy could have just said, there was nothing.
It's a migo thing?
Yeah, it's a migo. Because the guy could have said, there's nothing. Meaning, the father passed away. So he could have just said, what are you talking about? Your father didn't leave anything in my hands. What are you talking about? So now that he comes and he says, no, it was 50, he's doing hashavat avida. He's returning a lost object. Okay.
The rabbis did this for the general good, so people will not refrain from giving lots of objects out of a fear of being accused of wrongdoing.
Right. Okay. Manele biyadcha. Another case, somebody comes and he says, you have $100 by you. Elmaleh, he says, yes. Lemachar amarlo, he says, okay, give it to me. He said, I already give it to you. It's going to be patur. En lecha biyadi, but if he says, I don't have anything, here's going to be chayav. Meaning that I come and I said, Richard, you owe me $100. He says, yes. Okay, fine. I come back and I say, Richard, give me the $100. So what are you talking about? I already gave it to you. He's patur. But if he now says, no, you never gave me anything, now he's going to be chayav because he already admitted it to yesterday.
What do you mean?
What if he's lying?
Maneli biyadcha, you have $100, right? That I gave you $100. He says, yes. So he says, Al titznelu b'nevidim. You have to give it back to me only with witnesses. So the next day I come in and tell him, give it to me. He says, I already gave it to you. He's going to be chayav. Why? Because here he had to give it back to him and with the witnesses. Meaning the fact that Richard now comes and he says that he gave it back to me, it's not true. I told you that the condition was you had to give it back to me in front of witnesses. You didn't, so now you're chayav. Litra zav li yesh biyadcha. If you have a liter of gold, so he says, what are you talking about? I only have not a liter of gold, I have a liter of silver. It's going to be patur, because he completely went against the entire thing. He says, you have a dinar zahav. He says, no, I only have dinar of kesef, or trasi to put you to pruta. Everything is the same matbea, so therefore everything is the same currency or denomination, so therefore you're going to be obligated. Kur tvua li yesh biyadcha. Imagine I ask you for a kur tvua. Kur is a measurement of grain. And he says, it's not kur, I only have half, which is a letech. He's going to be patur, right? But why? Because beforehand,
and now he's talking about beans.
exactly,
Grain.
not grain. Exactly, that's why he's going to be patur. Kul perot yeshib yadcha, and he says only a letech of kinit you're going to be chayav. Why? Because the perot and the it's all the same. Meaning it's the same concept, right? That means again it has to be the same ta'ana. Ta'ano chitin v'odala b'sirim patur. If he asks him for wheat and he has barley and he only admits them in barley, he's going to be patur, but it's not the same thing. And Gamliel says no, he's going to be chayav. Because according to him, it was considered the same thing. Obviously, the Gemara is going to go into each case why yes, why not. If you ask him for kadesh shemen, right, for jugs of oil, right? He says, no, it wasn't. I don't have a jug. I only have kankanim, which is basically empty jugs without any oil. So Admon Omer, oil ve'odalo, since he did admit to him with the mitzat tana, he should swear. Chachamim omrim, ena odam tana. It's not the same thing. Amar says, it appears to me the words of Admon. Why? Because I asked for jugs. So that's it. I asked for jugs of oil. Yeah, but the jugs are the same thing. Tano, kelim v'karkaot. What does he ask for? Utensils and karka, land. And he was only modern the utensils, and he went against in the karka. Yeah, so in such a case, or the other way around, right? The karkaot, the kafar bekelim. He's going to be patur. Why? It's not the same thing. So dabim misat karkaot, but if it's going to be, right, he was modern, he's going to be patur. Misat kelim, he's going to be chayav. שהנכסים שאין להם אחריות זוכים מנכסים שיש להם אחריות נשווה להם. Because basically anything which does not have a guarantee is underneath something that does have a guarantee, meaning karka as a guarantee. So therefore it would be included in the, but it's not going to go the other way around, okay?
So it's part of the land you're exempt, but part of the utensils
you're going to be chaya obligated, because since in the land itself you're going to be always obligated, so therefore it goes after the land. So he says, you will never swear on a tana of a deaf mute, a person that's not 100% there, and a minor. And you will never make a child swear. But you will swear to a katan, right? And hegdesh. What does that mean? Obviously, we have to see all of a sudden here. We just said, it's not soter. It was okay. We're going to see about it in the Gemara. Because it sounds like a stira. 1 second ago, you just said you're not going to be swearing for tanat cheresh soter v'katan, and 2 seconds later, you just say nishmain lekatan. So obviously, we're going to have to see what's the difference between. So says the Gemara, how does the betin come and make them make a shavua? So I'm going to review the Marav. Says review the Marav. Mashbi'in oto b'shvua, right? Amura b'Torah. We're going to make them swear in the shavua, which is said in the Torah. Tichtiv, it says in the pasuk, v'ashbi'acha b'Hashem Elokei Hashamayim. So Amar le Ravina Ravashi, says Ravina Ravashi, Keman. Who's that going like? Like Rav Chanina Baridi, Damar Beinan Shema Miyuchad. You always have to make them swear with a Shem Miyuchad. So Elmaleh, he says, Afilu Tim Rabbanan Damni b'Kinui. You mean you're going to tell me it's the rabbis that they say that you will make them swear with a kinui? V'nafkamina, what's a nafkamina? Shetzarich latfuse chefza b'yadeh. He has to grab something in his hand or not, like a Sefer Torah or a tefillin, just like Eliezer Eved Avram, that he had to grab the milah. And like Rava, Damar Rava, Hay Dayana Dashba, this Dayan that is going to make the person swear, Belokei Hashamayim, right? He says, Na'asa kini sheta'a b'dvar Mishnah. He's like making a mistake in the Dvar Mishnah, v'chozen, and you have to retract, right? He has to actually retract. So therefore it comes out that according to the Rabbanan say that even Be'emet you would come and make him swear with a kinui, even without the Shem Yuchad. What's an afkamina? Does he actually have to hold something in his hands or not? Okay? Fine, the Gemara is going to explain. Also the same thing. If you made him swear with the tefillin, it's also a mistake, and therefore he goes back. The halacha is like the Rava, right? That even if he doesn't grab something of Kodesh, right? Choser adin, and the halacha is not like Rav Papa. Because he would not make him grab something in his hands, and that's a told b'dvar Mishnah, because it goes back. The halacha is not like Rav Papa, because he was actually grabbing something in his hands. So obviously the halacha was not like that. Okay, so that basically you don't need to hold something in your hand when you're making a shavua. Okay, next halacha, shavua meumad. You have to be standing up. Talmid Chacham could do it sitting down. Shavua b'sefer Torah. Talmid Chacham lechatchil b'tefillin, meaning that shavua has to be done with the sefer Torah in his hands, and the Talmid Chacham he has to do it lechatchil with tefillin. He doesn't need the sefer Torah in his hands. And Tarabanan shavua b'dedin afil shona ne'emra. because he said in any single language, right? And they tell him, if you're there, you should know, meaning when HaKadosh Baruch Hu came and he said, the entire world trembled, right? Because all the averot in the Torah, so to hear it's written, lo yenakeh, meaning all the averot of Torah, they're going to be paid back from him. And this is not written, because it's going to be from him and his family. But it says, right? Here it's from everybody. Meaning it's just showing you the power of what it is. If somebody goes against the Shevuah, right? It's going to be against him, against his family. He's not going to be cleansed. It's going to be the entire world. Meaning they come and they make him understand this is not just stam, that you're coming. Exactly.